It's not always an injury on the court that takes you out. Pain and mobility issues arrive anywhere, at any time. The sports medicine providers at MSU Healthcare are here for your comeback.
Patients should expect that we'll spend time with them and listen to their symptoms, tailor a physical examination to their issues, and customize a treatment plan, whether it's surgical or non-surgical, to help them get back to their active lifestyle and goals that they're interested in.
Sports medicine is a bit of a misnomer. We don't only treat athletes or people involved in organized sport. I think the better title for this would really be movement medicine. If you have something that's limiting your ability to do those tasks, we're here for you to help you and get you back moving again.
Even though you're injured doesn't mean you can't be active, and I like being creative and finding ways to keep you active even though we're trying to rehab you through an injury or complaint.
MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, official providers of MSU athletes and you.
Women's flat track roller derby is played on a variety of floors and surfaces, including concrete, sport court, and wood. The track layout is 108 feet by 75 feet and is flat and oval. It also includes both outside lane and infield area for officials. You'll notice there are two primary lines across one side of the straightaway on the track. The back line is called the jammer line, and jammers must start each jam behind that line on the track. The other line is called the pivot line, and blockers start the jam anywhere on the track between the jammer line and the pivot line. Once the jam starts, the skaters are allowed to skate forward, past these lines, and start making contact. But they must stay on the track at all times, if they can help it. Roller derby is played in increments called jams. Each jam lasts up to 2 minutes. Both teams field up to 5 skaters at the start of the jam. 4 of these skaters are called blockers, and 1 is called the jammer. The jammer wears a helmet cover with a star on it and scores points for the team. The blockers are playing both offense and defense at the same time, and together they make up what is called the pack. The 2 jammers start each jam behind the pack and must get through all of these skaters for an initial pass before they can begin to score points. When the initial pass is complete, a jammer can score 1 point for every opponent they pass with their hips. The first jammer out of the pack legally is declared lead jammer, which means they can end the jam anytime they want, before the 2 minutes are up. Sounds easy, right? Roller derby is a hard-hitting contact sport played on quad roller skates. The object of the game is simple: score a point for every opponent you pass. But getting there is not so simple. At the beginning of the jam, each team fields a jammer. The jammer is the skater with the star on her helmet, and she is the only one allowed to score points for her team. After the whistle, each jammer must make what's called their initial pass through the pack before they can start scoring points. On each subsequent pass, they can score 1 point for each opposing blocker they pass upright and inbounds on the track. If a jammer completely laps an opposing jammer, she can also earn a point for passing her. Each point is scored by the jammer's hips getting past her opponents, not her skates, requiring speed, agility, and even a little creativity.
Number 16, Little Maniac. Number 19, Duck Bite. Number 1988, Beetlejuice. Number 1990, Rebel Girl. Number 229, Cataclysm. Number 4, Shreddy Mercury. Number 49, Nightbolt. Number 711, Violent Femme. Number 72, Rebel. Rebel, thank you. Number 726, Ramona Flowers. And number 99, Peekaboo. Your Cubs be coached tonight by Coach Yar. And the Wolves wearing black are number 10, Fresno Nightcrawler. Number 112, Sunburst. Number 12, Rotten Candy. Number 134, Briar Rose. Number 1-800, Call Sam. Number 28, Serial Killer. Number 313, Kick Astral. Number 314, Archangel. Number 33, Zori. Number 427, Tripping Hazard. Number 67, Cheese Titan. Number 15, Violent Baudelaire. And rounding out the Wolves roster is number 999, Turbulent Tiger TT. Your Wolves will be coached tonight by Coach Bad Aptitude and Strega. And we've got our first shout out of the evening, Cheese, shred the competition. All right, lining up for our first jam. Wearing the star for the Wolves, it is number 999, Turbulent Tiger. And jamming for the Cubs, we have number 16, Little Maniac. Oh, Maniac taking a hard hit there from number 15, Baudelaire of the Wolves. And we've got a lead jammer in it, TT for the Wolves. Maniac lines up behind the pack, ready to take another shot at that initial pass. Maniac caught up in the pack. TT, meanwhile, lining up for that first scoring pass. Ooh, TT hits the ground. Got to get through one more blocker. And the first points of the game are scored. The Wolves are in the black with 4 points. And make that 8 points as TT glides through the center, the inside lane for 4 more points. We got the first star pass of the evening. Scream Queen of the Cubs taking the star, and Scream Queen is out of the pack. TT lining up behind the back, taking a cue from the bench, calls off the jam. Cubs held scoreless in that jam. TT putting 8 points on the board for the Wolves. And we can see the Wolves jammer Wolves jammer coming up to the jam line. That's Rotten Candy jamming for the Wolves. Rotten Candy almost through the pack, has to get through. The Cubs pivot, and Rotten Candy will be lead jammer. Rebel Girl still trapped in the pack. Nice defense there from number 15, Violet Baudelaire. Rebel Girl looking for that hole, taking a hit there from Fresno Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler attempts to do a little recycling there on Rebel Girl. Oh, Rebel Girl called out on the track. Power jam for the Wolves, and Rotten Candy 4 points up on the scoreboard. Pack's a little spread out on the straightaway. Rotten Candy coming in for a second scoring pass, and that's another 4 points going on the board for the Wolves. Cubs practicing defense. Rebel Girls still in that pack. And the Wolves grouping up in the back of that pack. Rebel Girl out of that penalty box. Rotten Candy lining up for another scoring pass. Rotten Candy just has to get through the Cubs pivot. Ooh, nice recycling there from number 711, Violet Femme of the Cubs. Rebel Girl still on that initial pass. Beautiful recycling there from the Wolves. Violet Femme takes a tumble there, skates up to the front of the pack. And we have a pile up on the turn. Rotten Candy just has 2 more Cubs blockers to get through. Again, nice defense there from Violet Femme. Oh, but Femme's got to let her go. That's another 4 points for Rotten Candy. Off 11-point jam there. Up to 19. Cubs, we've got our first out of the game. During this timeout, we just want to give a quick shout out to Lansing Roller Derby's community partner for this game. This is the Okemos High School Action Club with the hashtag Sock Out Suicide campaign. Sock Out Suicide is an annual campaign to raise awareness and start important discussions about suicide prevention and mental health. On May 16th, community members are encouraged to wear fun, brightly colored socks, run with Playmakers 5K, or take the Sock Outside Pledge, which is to seek help or call 988 if you are having self-harming thoughts. Encourage others to seek help from a professional if they are struggling, or call 988 or 911 if you think someone is in danger of self-harm. No one is alone, and together we can end the stigma surrounding suicide. Join us, wear your joy, your support, and your story on your feet. After this bout, but before the second bout, we are going to be having a crazy sock competition. So all of you crazy sock wearers, you'll have an opportunity to win some great prizes just by showing off your socks and helping to sock out suicide. And the long whistle means this timeout is over. And we're back. Oh, okay, not quite into out. Now we're in the action. We got Rebel wearing the for the Cubs. Cheese Titan jamming for the Wolves. And Rebel is up at the front of the pack. Rebel is going to be lead jammer. Cheese Titan still trapped in the back of that pack. Nice defense there from number 4, Shreddy Mercury of the Cubs. Oh, and the Cubs are on the board with 4 points, brought to you by Rebel. Cheese Titan still looking for that hole in the pack. Cubs putting up some nice defense there on turn 2. Rebel going for another scoring pass, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 more points on the board for the Cubs, bringing their total up to 8. Cheese Titan still on that initial. Cheese Titan looking to get the star pass here, And what is this? Rebel coming around for another scoring pass. 12-point jam so far for Rebel, and we've got 51 seconds left on the jam clock. Cheese Titan still holding on to that star, looking to get the pass to the team's pivot. Oh, and it's another scoring pass from Rebel. 16-point jam so far for the Cubs, catching right up to the Wolves. We could end this jam with a tied game. Rebel coming in for another scoring pass. Passes the Wolves, calls it off mid-pack, and Flame says that's 3 more points. So 19-point jam there, brought to you by Rebel. And we've got a 1-point game, sports fans. Wolves now at 20, Cubs 19. TT returns to the jam line for the Wolves. Little Maniac wearing the star for the Cubs. We got a 5-on-5 pack. No one in the penalty box at the moment. There's the whistle. TT running into that tight Cubs 3-wall. Makes quick work of the 3-wall, and TT will be lead jammer. Little Maniac called out on a back block. It's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. TT coming into the pack for that first scoring pass, hitting that pack of Wolves there at the front. The penalties are flying fast and furious out there. TT called out on a penalty. You know what this means. When both jammers are in the penalty box, Little Maniac will be released, and TT will serve the exact same amount of time as Little Maniac. Pack is at a standstill on turn 3. Little Maniac hitting that pack at full speed. Coming in to that fearsome wall of black at the front of the pack. Try saying that 3 times fast. And the no pack has been called. Little Maniac, Little Maniac falls there into tripping hazard. Tripping hazard living up to the name. TT, meanwhile, sneaking out of that penalty box, coming around for 4 points. Little Maniac still looking to put some points on the board for the Cubs in this jam. Little Maniac looking for the hole in the pack. Nice defense there from the Wolves pivot. TT coming around like it's nothing for another 4 points for the Wolves. And Little Maniac out of that pack, but it is the Maniac's first pass. No points yet for the Cubs, but we've got 10 seconds left to go in this jam. TT coming in for a third scoring pass. Nice hit there from number 13, Meteor Plower of the Cubs. And Little Maniac gets on the board just as the jam is called off. TT, meanwhile, putting another 3 points on the board. 11-point jam there for the Wolves. Oh, and it appears that the Cubs were held scoreless in that jam. Oh, I spoke too quickly. 3 points for the Cubs, bringing their total up to 22. Wolves in the lead at 31. We got Rotten Candy back on the jam line for the Wolves, joined by Rebel, jamming for the Cubs. Rotten Candy powering through that pack. Rotten Candy taking a tumble to the outside. Nice recycling there from number 711, Violent Femme of the Cubs. Rotten Candy going for another try. Rebel sneaking up on the pack there. Oh, and Rotten Candy out of that pack, but she will not be the lead jammer. That honor goes to Rebel. And Rebel practices the shutout, calls it off. 4-point jam there for Rebel. Wolves held scoreless, so we still have a very close game. Wolves still in the lead at 31. Cubs catching up at 26. And we've got another official timeout being called. This timeout is brought to you by MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine. MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine is the official medical provider and a sponsor of Lansing Roller Derby. long whistle means the timeout is over. And we're back into action. The Wolves have Fresno Nightcrawler on the jam line. Duck bite jamming for the Cubs, and Fresno Nightcrawler out of that pack with a vengeance. Fresno Nightcrawler will be lead jammer. Duck bite still stuck in the pack on that initial pass. And Fresno Nightcrawler, blink and you miss it, coming around for 4 points. Coach Bad Aptitude making the signal, just keep right on going. Duck bite still on that initial pass. Fresno Nightcrawler coming up against a Cubs blocker in the pack. They both hit the ground. Duck bite almost out of that pack, but oh no, wait, here comes the Wolves pivot. And duck bite is out, will not be lead jammer. Fresno picking up a penalty there, and it's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. Duck bite taking a hit in the pack there from number 134, Briar Road. After that, duck bite comes through for 4 points. Duck bite running into a little bit of trouble there in the pack. Fresno Nightcrawler out of that penalty box, looking to keep scoring, and keep scoring they do. Another 4 points on the board there for the Wolves. 8-point jam so far for Fresno Nightcrawler. And duck bite answering with another 4 points for the Cubs. 8-point jam so far for both teams. We've got 13 seconds left to go on the clock. Fresno Nightcrawler taking a hit from the invisible blocker there on turn 3, lining up behind the pack just in case that invisible blocker becomes visible. And jam reaches its natural conclusion. Fresno Nightcrawler does put 4 more points on the board. 8-point jam, and they take another hit from that pesky invisible blocker on the way to the bench. 11-point jam there for the Cubs. That's going to bring their total up to 37. Wolves still in the lead at 43. Still, things are very close, very much anyone's game this evening. And the Cubs start this jam at a slight advantage. We have 2 Wolves blockers in the penalty box. We got TT back on the jam line for the Wolves, and TT will be lead jammer. Number 13, Meteor Plower wearing the star for the Cubs. Meteor Plower, ooh, out of that pack. TT coming in for the first scoring pass. TT sneaking up through the inside lane. Bad Aptitude making the signal to call things off. And TT does 4-point jam for the Wolves. We got Scream Queen back on the jam line for the Cubs. And Wolves jammer comes up to the jam line just as the jam begins. That is Rotten Candy wearing the star for the Wolves, and Scream Queen caught in the pack. Serial Killer lies in wait. And the Scream Queen has fallen into the Serial Killer's trap at the front of the pack. Rotten Candy re-enters the track. Oh, and that was a track cut. Rotten Candy headed to the penalty box. It's going to be a power jam for the Cubs. Scream Queen still on that initial pass. The Cubs switch to defense. Masterful job by the Wolves. Pivot there on turn 3. Oh, jam has been called off. And Axel Rolls has called an official timeout. Both teams returning to the track. Still a power jam for the Cubs. Rebel is back on the jam line for the Cubs. Wolves practicing their defense at the front of the pack. Rebel running into that wall of black. Oh, and Rebel manages to outrun the Wolves pivot. And they will be lead jammer. And Pack is moving slow on the straightaway. Wolves doing a good job slowing things down until their jammer can come out of the penalty box. Rebel almost through that first scoring pass. And the Wolves line up at the front of the pack, but Rebel breaks away for 4. Call Sam, meanwhile, wearing the star for the Wolves, is back into the action here. And we got a star pass from the Wolves, and the star is going to number 313, Kick Astral. Rebel, meanwhile, coming around for 4. An 8-point jam so far for the Cubs. They are trailing by just 2 points. Kick Astral coming in for that first scoring pass of the jam. And Rebel almost so close out of that pack. And that's another 4 points for Rebel. And just like that, we have a lead change. The Cubs now in the lead at 49. Wolves trailing at 47. 2-point lead held by the team in white. And Rebels still going for more points. And another 4 points for the Cubs. 16-point jam so far for Rebel. Kick Astral answering with 4 points of their own for the Wolves. Ooh, cruel misfortune. Rebel called to the penalty box. It is now a power jam for the Wolves. Oh, and that is going to be the jam. That means the Wolves will start this next one in the power position. And it looks like Kick Astral put 3 more points on the board for the Wolves. 7-point jam, putting the Wolves back into the lead by just 1 point at 54. Cubs trailing at 53. And we have team captain number 999, TT, back on the jam line for the Wolves. TT making quick work of that pack. Going to be lead jammer. TT approaching the pack for the first scoring packs. Little baby Apex jump there. The kidney bean says it's good, and that's another 4 points on the board for the Wolves. Rebel back into the mix here, taking a hit from evasive species number 15. Oh, that's Violent Baudelaire, rather, of the Wolves. Rebel breaking away from the Wolves. The Wolves pivot has to let her go, but that was Rebel's initial pass. She did start this jam in the penalty box. Tripping hazard going to come in to have a sit. TT put another 4 points on the board for the Wolves. And TT's not slowing down. Jam's a little more than half over. Two-wall can't hold TT back for long. Another 4 points going on the board for the Wolves. Rebel yet to get on the scoreboard in this jam. Beautiful defense there from number 15, Violet Baudelaire of the Wolves. Violet Baudelaire forcing a penalty there on Rebel. It's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. TT coming in for one more scoring pass before the jam is whistled off. Violent Femme, the last line of defense there for the Cubs. Ooh, Violent Femme doing a nice job hitting TT to the outside. Nice. And TT still managed to pick up 3 points in that last scoring pass. 19-point jam altogether for the Wolves. That's going to bring their total up to 73. Cubs trailing at 58. And we have another official timeout. We're going to give another quick shout out to MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine. MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, the official medical provider and a sponsor of Lansing Roller Derby. And timeout has ended. Rotten Candy out there jamming for the Wolves. Rebels stranded in the penalty box. Rotten Candy lining up back behind the pack, going for that initial pass. Cubs putting up a beautiful 3-wall at the front of the pack. Nice job by Lemon Lime holding things down up there. Rotten Candy has her work cut out for her trying to get through that 3-wall. Rebel snaking out of that penalty box before anyone's watching, becoming lead jammer. Again, nice Meteor Plower taking up the blocking there for the Cubs. Oh, Rebel Candy finally out, will not be lead jammer. Rebel coming in for that initial scoring pass. Oh, you blink and you miss her. Sneaking through the inside lane, calls it off. 4 points going on the board for the Cubs. We have just under 10 minutes left to go in this first half. Wolves in the lead at 73. Cubs trailing at 62. 11-point game. Things have been very close this whole first half. We'll see if this jam changes anything. And we got number 1. Number 19, Duck Bite is jamming for the Cubs. 1-800-CALL-SAM wearing the star for the Wolves. Duck Bite held back by some masterful blocking there from Briar Rose of the Wolves, but Duck Bite finally out, going to be lead jammer. Call Sam, meanwhile, Call Sam out of that pack. Call Sam planning to go for a star pass. Duck Bite calls it off before that can happen. 4-point jam for the Cubs. Cubs are catching up here. 66 points so far, trailing the Wolves by just, let me do the math here, 7 points. Number 14, Scream Queen, is on the jam line for the Cubs. Oh, and the refs have called another official timeout. Oh, and that timeout was nice and quick, our favorite kind. We have Turbulent Tiger back on the jam line for the Wolves. Scream Queen wearing the star for the Cubs. Oh, TT coming up against number 4, Shreddy Mercury in the pack. Scream Queen, meanwhile, coming up against some resistance from Tripping Hazard and Rotten Candy. And TT, once again, going to be lead jammer. Scream Queen lining back up. Nice hit there from Fresno Nightcrawler of the Wolves. TT coming in for a scoring pass. Going to be held back by number 113, Lemon Lime. Cubs have a tight 3-wall there. TT lines back up for another try. Oh, we got to pile up on the turn. Scream Queen gets to their feet. Scream Queen breaking through the last line of defense, but that was Scream Queen's initial pass. No points yet for the club. No points yet for the Cubs. And TT takes some direction from the bench, calls it off. 2 more points going on the board there for the Wolves. Yeah, it's Serial Killer, number 28, jamming for the first time this evening for the Wolves. Rebel Girl will be wearing the star for the Cubs. Lots of communication going on in the pack. That's a good thing. Rebel Girl is out. Will be lead jammer. Serial Killer sent to their knees there by number 49, Nightbolt. And Rebel Girl coming out of that pack for 3 points, 4 points, 4 points. Serial Killer still on her initial pass. The Cubs putting up quite the defense there in the back of that pack. Rebel Girl finds a hole on the inside and takes it. 8-point jam so far for the Cubs. 1 point below the Wolves. We got 74-75, and the refs have called it. Oh, all right, we're back into action here. Got a 4-on-5 pack. Cheese Titan is on the jam line for the Wolves. Rebel once again wearing the star for the Cubs. And Rebel on the outside, going to pick up lead jammer. Cheese Titan still in the back of the pack there. And Wolves pivot called out on an illegal procedure. Rebel coming in for that first scoring pass. That's 4 points going on the board for the Cubs. Cubs now in the lead at 78 points. Cheese Titan, meanwhile, out of that pack. Rebel coming in for a second scoring pass, slowing down just before she hits the pack, passing all the Wolves and calling it off. Nicely done. 4 more points, 8-point jam there for Rebel, bringing the Cubs total up to 82. Wolves at 75. We've got just under 5 minutes left to go in this first half. Number 16 That's Little Maniac returning to the jam line for the Cubs. We got TT number 999 wearing the star for the Wolves. Little Maniac sent to their knees mid-pack there, courtesy of that Wolves defense. Little Maniac will be lead jammer TT, not too far behind. Little Maniac coming in for that first scoring pass, making quick work of those. Oh, I spoke too quickly. Nice recycling there from number 15, Violent Baudelaire of the Wolves. Oh, but what is this? Nice recycling, no more recycling from Cataclysm of the Cubs there on TT. TT going for the apex jump, doesn't quite make it. Cataclysm recycling TT yet again. A Little Maniac calls it off mid-jam. 2 points going on the board there for the Cubs. Wolves held scoreless, so we got a 10-point game now. Cubs in the lead at, make that a 6-point jam for the Cubs. 3 points from the Wolves. We got a 10-point game. Cubs in the lead by 10 points. And the jam is on. Violet Baudelaire. Blink and you miss it. Going to be lead jammer. Meteor Plower, meanwhile, trailing the pack. Still on that first pass. That pack is moving fast. Violet Baudelaire's moving faster. Meteor Plower out on that initial pass. Violet Baudelaire a whole lap ahead. Coming around for 4 points. We could see another lead change in this jam. Both teams keeping this pack moving, and our jammers are hitting this pack at full force. Meteor Plower and Violet Baudelaire neck and neck. 8-point jam for Baudelaire, 4 points for Meteor Plower. And Cubs hanging on, still hanging on to a 6-point lead here. And the penalty box filling up here. We got 3-on-3 pack, another 4 points brought to you by Violet Baudelaire. Wolves trailing only by 2 at this point. Oh wait, Meteor Plower putting 4 points, make that 6. Cubs just 4 points below the century mark now at 96 points. Violet Baudelaire makes another pass and calls it off. Now that's a 16-point jam brought to you by Violet Baudelaire. And the Cubs have called a team timeout. Just another reminder, not at halftime, but at the conclusion of this bout, we are going to have a crazy sock contest to support the Sock Out Suicide campaign. We've got some awesome prizes for the first and second place winners. So everyone who wore crazy socks tonight, keep that in mind. And so the timeout has ended. Cubs running into a little bit of penalty trouble here. Coach Yar switching out her players here. It's Lemon Lime going to take over as Cubs pivot in this jam. Oh, and I know you know has called an official timeout. Cubs doing another switch. Team captain Scream Queen taking over as pivot. And with the long whistle, the timeout is officially over. We've got just a minute and a half left to go in this first half. This could be the last jam of the half. We're just going to have to wait and see. We got Ramona Flowers wearing the star for the Cubs. Call Sam back out there jamming for the Wolves. And a hop, skip, and a jump. Ramona Flowers is going to be lead jammer. Call Sam looking for the hole. Scream Queen throwing the hip in. Ramona. And Call Sam finds a hole on the inside and takes it. Ramona Flowers lining up for that first scoring pass, getting through the pack untouched. And the Cubs are officially at the century mark for 100 points. Scream Queen coming in to have a seat in the penalty box. Call Sam answering with 4 points of her own for the Wolves. That's going to take the Wolves up to 98. And Ramona Flowers coming in for another 4 points for the Cubs. 8-point jam so far, bringing the Cubs total up to 104. Call Sam coming in for another scoring pass here. Call Sam looking for finds a hole on the inside. That's going to take the Wolves over the century mark at 102 points. Cubs still hanging on to a 6-point lead. 12-point jam so far for Ramona Flowers. And Ramona calls it off with just a couple seconds left to go on the clock. We'll have to see if the refs say we have time for one more jam or not. And that's going to be the half.
It's not always an injury on the court that takes you out. Pain and mobility issues arrive anywhere, at any time. The sports medicine providers at MSU Healthcare are here for your comeback.
Patients should expect that we'll spend time with them and listen to their symptoms, tailor a physical examination to their issues, and customize a treatment plan, whether it's surgical or non-surgical, to help them get back to their active lifestyle and goals that they're interested in.
Sports medicine is a bit of a misnomer. We don't only treat athletes or people involved in organized sport. I think the better title for this would really be movement medicine. If you have something that's limiting your ability to do those tasks, we're here for you to help you and get you back moving again.
Even though you're injured doesn't mean you can't be active. And I like being creative and finding ways to keep you active even though we're trying to rehab you through an injury or complaint.
MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, official providers of MSU athletes and you.
Lansing Roller Derby's community partner for this bout is the Okemos High School Action Club and their Sock Out Suicide campaign. Sock Out Suicide is an annual campaign to raise awareness and start important discussions about suicide prevention and mental health. On May 16th, community members are encouraged to wear fun, brightly colored socks, run with Playmakers 5K, or take the Sock Out Suicide Pledge. In addition, we will be having a crazy sock contest at the conclusion of this bout, right before the adult bout begins. We've got some awesome prizes for our first and second place winners, so just keep that in mind. Oh, and the whistle means the bout has begun. We got Beetlejuice on the jam line for the Cubs, and Beetlejuice will be lead jammer. TT on the jam line for the Wolves. TT currently stuck behind Scream Queen and Nightbolt. Beetlejuice sneaking out of nowhere, putting up 4 points on the board for the Cubs. Beetlejuice coming in for a second scoring pass, taking a tumble to the outside of the track there. TT going for a star pass, meanwhile, in the pack. Cubs blocking that star pass. Beetlejuice, meanwhile, putting another 4 points on the board for the Cubs, bringing their total up to 8. We got a star pass from the Wolves. Number 15, Violet Baudelaire, taking over as jammer for the Wolves. Up, we have, and we've got a skater down. for this second half. No lead jammer, 1 minute jams, and jammers will start scoring points during their first pass through the pack. We got Rebel on the jam line for the Cubs. Rotten Candy, number 12, wearing the star for the Wolves. Rotten Candy going for the inside tripping hazard, keeping that inside lane open. And that's 4 points on the board, brought to you by Rotten Candy. Nice recycling on Rebel there by TT. Rotten Candy coming in for that second scoring pass. Nice defense there from the Cubs there at the front of the pack. Oh, Rotten Candy coming around for another 4 points. Rebel taking a hit there on the straightaway. Rebel going for a Rebel appears to be going for a star pass, and Scream Queen out dodges that Cubs blocker. Coming around for another 4 points, 12-point jam so far for Meteor Flower for Rotten Candy, and that's 1 minute. That's the jam. That's gonna bring the Wolves up to 118, just 1 point below the Cubs at 119. So we've got a 1-point game here. We've got Call Sam on the jam line here for the Wolves, but it's going to be number 726, Ramona Flowers, getting through first. That's 4 points going on the board for the Clubs. Call Sam, meanwhile, getting taken out at the back of that pack, and Call Sam trying to break through that tight Cubs 3-wall. Nice blocking there from number 19, Duck Bite of the Cubs. Ramona Flowers, meanwhile, putting another 4 points on the board for the Cubs. 8-point jam so far. Call Sam still working on that initial pass. Ramona Flowers coming in for a third pass through the pack. Oh, and Ramona Flowers coming through the outside lane untouched. 12-point jam so far for the Cubs. Oh, and Call Sam is out of that pack for 4 points. And Ramona Flowers keeps right on going. That was a 3 points for Ramona Flowers in that pass. So 15-point jam there for the Cubs. That's going to bring their total up to 137, Wolves 122. We got TT coming back to the jam line for the Wolves. We'll be joined by Rebel Girl jamming for the Cubs. And number 229 Cataclysm doing a nice job holding together that wall in the front of the pack for the Cubs. TT's got her work cut out for her. But what is this beautiful recycling there from number 5, Violet Baudelaire of the Wolves on Rebel Girl. Rebel Girl finding the hole on the outside end. Rebel Girl sneaks right past number 427, Tripping Hazard. But Turbulent Tiger is in the lead there. 4 points for both of our jammers so far. We got 21 seconds left to go. Rebel Girl getting caught up in the pack there. And, well, that's going to be the jam. And Rebel Girl, both of our jammers put 2 more points. So 6-point jam there for both of our teams. So right away, Rotten Candy starting this jam out with a bang, coming up against that tight Cubs 3-wall. TT looking to play a little defense. Oh, Rebel taking out TT at the front of the pack. Violet Baudelaire's got to let Rebel go, and that's 4 points going on the board there for the Cubs. Rotten Candy putting another 4 points on the board for the Wolves. Rebel coming in for another scoring pass, getting caught up in that. Scream Queen trying to break up that wall of Wolves there for Rebel. Rotten Candy threw faster for 4 points for the Wolves. And Rotten Candy coming in for another scoring pass here. Rebel still in the pack. Oh, Rebel's got to get, ooh, nice sweep there from TT of the Wolves. And Rotten Candy coming on for another 4 points. 12-point jam there for Rotten Candy. Cubs answering with 8 points. So Cubs still in the lead. Still holding on to a 9-point lead here at 151. Wolves 140. And Cubs are putting number 19 Duck Bite back out on the jam line. Jamming for the first time this evening, it is Sunburst, number 1112 for the Wolves. Duck Bite looking for the hole. Zori closing things up there on the outside. Duck Bite trying to regain her footing there. Oh, Duck Bite is out for 4 points. Sunburst, meanwhile, caught up behind Shreddy Mercury and Violet Femme of the Cubs. Oh, Duck Bite finding the inside wide open and goes for it. 8-point jam so far for Duck Bite. Cubs now in a 19-point lead. Sunburst lining up again behind the pack for another try. Violet Femme lies in wait. Oh, Sunburst is free out of that pack for 4. Make that a 15-point lead for the Cubs. Let's see if Duck Bite manages to put any more points on. Oh! I'm psychic. 4 more points on the board for the Cubs. 12-point jam there for Duck Bite. That's going to extend the club's lead to 19 points at 163. Wolves trailing at 144. Little Maniac is on the jam line for the Cubs. And the Wolves jammer hitting that pack at full speed. Beautiful blocking there from Scream Queen. Nice sweep there from the Wolves pivot. That's number 15, Violet Baudelaire, is going to force Little Maniac to the back of that pack. Tripping hazard. Meanwhile, coming out of that pack for 4 points. Little Maniac still has to get through all those Wolves blockers. Oh, beautiful recycling there from TT of the Wolves. Oh, but Little Maniac can't be stopped. That's 4 points going on the board there for the Maniac. Tripping hazard on her second scoring pass. That's 8 points so far for Tripping hazard. Little Maniac, almost dodging TT, but TT goes down. That's 3 points there for Little Maniac. Oh, make that 4, 8-point jam. 8-point jam there for both teams. So Cubs still 19-point lead. We got Rebel Girl, number 1990, returning to the jam line for the Cubs. This is Rotten Candy, number 12, jamming for the Wolves. Cataclysm hurrying to put that pivot cover on just as the Cubs call a team timeout. We want to give another shout out to MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine. MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, the official medical provider and a sponsor of Lansing Roller Derby. Also, just want to shout out to the Okemos High School Action Club, Lansing Roller Derby's community partners for tonight. Oakmost High School with their Sock Out Suicide campaign, an annual campaign to raise awareness and start important discussions about suicide prevention and mental health. On May 16th, community members are encouraged to wear fun, brightly colored socks, run with Playmakers 5K, or take the Sock Outside Pledge. Playmakers holding a 5K fun run on Thursday, May 15th for suicide prevention, and Friday, May 16th is the annual Sock Out Suicide event. Timeout's over. We got Rotten Candy returning to the jam line for the Wolves. Rebel Girl is out there jamming for the Cubs. Rebel Girl coming up against TT and number 1 and Sunburst in the pack. Nice hit there from Violet Femme of the Cubs on Rotten Candy. Looks like Violet Femme going to the penalty box for that hit. Rotten Candy sneaking on the inside lane, coming around for 4 points. Rebel Girl still trapped. Oh, I spoke too quickly. Rebel Girl out of that pack for 4 points. Rotten Candy coming in for a second scoring pass here. Oh, barely getting touched. Another 4 points going on the board for Rotten Candy. Rebel Girl also going for another scoring pass here. Rotten Candy coming to the pack again. Oh, no, never mind. That's a minute. It looks like Rebel Girl did put 2 points on the 6 points on the board total for the Cubs. Wolves at 10. So now we have a 15-point game. Cubs still in the lead at 177. Wolves trailing at 162. Number 19, Duck Bite, is returning to the jam line for the Cubs. This is number 67, Cheese Titan, jamming for the Wolves. Sneaking through the outside. That is Cheese Titan coming around for 4 points. And Duck Bite breezing past Call Sam there in the pack for 4 points. Cheese Titan hitting that pack at full speed, getting taken out by the invisible blocker there on the turn. Duck Bite, meanwhile, sneaking right past all those Wolves on the inside lane for 4 points. 8-point jam so far for Duck Bite. Cheese Titan taking another stab at things, getting held to the back there by number 4 of, that is Shreddy Mercury of the Cubs. Cheese Titan finding a hole on the inside, coming around for 4 points. Duck Bite answering for 4, so that's a 12-point jam there for the Cubs. 8 points for the Wolves. 19-point game. We got 17 minutes left to go on the clock, and TT returns to the jam line for the Wolves. Number 13, Meteor Plower, will be jamming for the Cubs. And it is TT coming out of that pack almost instantly for 4 points. Meteor Plower answering in kind with 4 points for the Cubs. TT skating into that pack. Apex Jump achievement unlocked for TT. 8-point jam so far for the Wolves. Meteor Plower coming up against the Wolves pivot there in the pack. Nice 3-wall there. Cubs pivot trying to break things up there for Meteor Plower, but it is another 4 points going on the board there for TT. TT isn't slowing down at all. Meteor Plower putting another 4 points on there for the Cubs. Cubs just below that double century mark at 197. TT coming around for another 4. 16-point jam so far for the Wolves. And that's all she wrote, sports fans. 16-point jam there for the Wolves. 8 points for the Cubs. Oh, make that 10 points. So we've got a 13-point game. Cubs just 1 point below that double century mark at 119. Wolves at 186. Rotten Candy coming back to jam for the Wolves. We've got Rebel number 7-2 jamming for the Cubs. Oh, TT doing her best block there, but Rebel comes through for 4 points. And just like that, the Cubs are officially over the century mark at 203 points. The Cubs pivot has to let Rotten Candy go. That's 4 points going on the board for the Wolves. Rebel caught up in the pack behind a Wolves 3-wall. Tripping Hazard doing a nice job holding things down for the Wolves out there. Oh, Rebel breaks through for 4. Rotten Candy coming around, answering with 4 points of their own. Rebel coming in for a third scoring pass. Tripping Hazard and TT Boyer on the lookout. Nice shoulder action there from Zori. At a minute, jam's called off. And Rebel did pick up 1 more point there in that jam. So that was 9 points total, bringing the Cubs total up to 208. Wolves at 194. And the Wolves have called a team timeout. Let's do one more shout out for MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine. MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, official medical provider and a sponsor of Lansing Roller Derby. And we've got both pivots in the penalty box to start this jam, so 3-on-3 pack. We got Sunburst on the jam line for the Wolves, but it's Ramona Flowers jamming for the Clubs, coming through first for 4 points. Sunburst trying to break through that Cubs wall in the pack. Scream Queen doing a nice job holding things down. Cataclysm also coming out of the penalty box for an assist. Ramona Flowers putting 4 more points on the board there for the Cubs. Tripping Hazard line and wait there for Ramona in the pack. Cheese Titan going to also assist here. Oh, and Ramona Flowers breaks through for 4. Another 12-point jam so far for Ramona. Sunburst held back for... Oh, nope. Sunburst did pick up 2 points there for the Wolves. That's going to bring the Wolves just 4 points below that double century mark at 196. We got Violet Baudelaire on the jam line for the Wolves, joined by Nightbolt jamming for the Cubs. Violet Baudelaire taking a hit to the outside there. To the inside rather. Finds a hole on the outside lane and comes around for 4 points. That's going to put the Wolves right at 200 points. Nightbolt still looking for a hole in the pack TT boy doing some, nope, TT rather, doing some nice blocking there. That's Turbulent Tiger. Oh, 4 points going on. Another 4 points going on the board there for Violet Baudelaire. 8-point jam so far. Tripping Hazard going to come in and have a sit in the penalty box. Oh, nice block. Nice shoulder block there from number 711, Violet Femme. Violet Baudelaire just keeps right on going. Nightbolt almost out of the pack. TT recycles Nightbolt all the way to the back. This could be the Wolves' chance to catch up. Oh, that's been a minute. 4 more points. Oh, Cubs did pick up 4 points in that jam. That's going to bring their total up to 224. Wolves trailing at 208. Scream Queen coming back to jam for the Cubs. This is going to be Rotten Candy wearing the star for the Wolves. Oh, and Scream Queen coming out fast for 4 points. Rotten Candy stuck behind that Cubs 3-wall there. And the Cubs pivot looking to break things up. Scream Queen taking a hit there from TT on the turn. Zori also coming in for an assist, but Scream Queen just shrugs it off, coming around for 4 points. Rotten Candy still on that initial pass. Nice little love tap there from Rebel Girl in the pack. Rotten Candy goes for the outside, held back by those terrifying Cubs. Lemon Lime doing a nice job with the blocking there. Scream Queen coming in for another scoring pass. We got 5 seconds left to go. Scream Queen running up against TT and Zori in the pack. That's going to be the jam. At 2 points going on the board there for the Wolves in that jam. That's going to expand the Cubs' lead up to 26 points. 236 total points for the Cubs. Wolves trailing at 210. We have just under 10 minutes left to go in this bout. Also, don't forget, we are going to have our Crazy Sock contest in between these 2 games. So you got those crazy socks on tonight for the Sock Out Suicide campaign. We've got some great prizes for our first and second Crazy Sock contest winners after this bout. And Duck Bite jamming for the Cubs, putting 4 points on the board there. Kick Astral still in that pack. Got to get past Little Maniac and Shreddy Mercury. Oh, Kick Astral is through for 4. Duck Bite, meanwhile, has to fight through that Wolf's wall in the back. Oh, Duck Bite is through for another 4 points. Kick Astral forced to the back of that black. Nice defense there from Ramona Flowers of the Cubs. And that's another 4 points going on the board for Duck Bite. 12-point jam so far for the Cubs. That's a minute. That's going to be the jam. Duck Bite taking a hit from the invisible blocker as she exits the track there. We got Rebel back on the jam line for the Cubs, joined by TT wearing the star for the Wolves. Cataclysm looking TT straight in the eye there in the pack. Nice hit there by Cataclysm on TT in the pack. Rebel finds a hole on the inside and takes it. 4 points going on the board for the Cubs. TT answering with another 4 points for the Wolves. Both jammers hitting that pack at full speed. Ooh, TT goes for the apex jump. Doesn't quite stick the landing. Nice recycling from number 13, Meteor Plower of the Cubs. Rebel called out on a track cut. It's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. TT putting 4 more points on the board there for the Wolves. TT going for a third scoring pass. We got 9 seconds left to go in this jam. Nice hit there from number 229, Cataclysm of the Cubs. All right, that's a minute. That's the jam. TT picked up 3 more points in that jam. It's going to bring the Wolves total up to 11. Wolves getting the power start for this next jam. We got 1-800-CALL Sam returning to the jam line. And Violet looking to break up that 3-wall there for Sam. And the Cubs wall back up there at the front of the pack. Call Sam looking for that hole. Violet Baudelaire trying to break things up there. Oh, and blink and you miss it. Rebel out of that penalty box at full speed. 4 points going on the board for the Cubs, bringing their total up to 258. Call Sam yet to score in this jam. And Call Sam taking a tumble there on the inside lane. And the Cubs wall up at the front of the pack there in anticipation. Nice hit from Little Maniac. Call Sam shrugs it off, comes around for 4. And Rebel put 2 more points on the board for the Cubs. Oh, make that 3 more points on the board for the Cubs. That's going to bring their total up to 261. Wolves trailing at 231. We've got a 30-point game and just 5 minutes left to go in this bout. Rotten Candy returning to the jam line for the Wolves. Ramona Flowers wearing the star for the Cubs. It's a 5-on-5 pack we got out there. Ramona Flowers looking for that hole, forced to the outside by Cheese Titan. And number 60, Cheese Titans playing defense again, but Ramona Flowers gets through for 4. Rotten Candy also coming around for 4. Rotten Candy catching up to Ramona. Rotten Candy hitting that pack first, brought to a dead stop by Cataclysm and the rest of the Cubs defense. Ramona Flowers sneaking around for 4 points. Oh, and the Cubs have successfully forced a penalty on Rotten Candy. It's going to be a power jam for the Cubs. And Ramona Flowers going for a third scoring pass here. Tripping Hazard has to let her go, and that's another 4 points going on the board for Ramona Flowers. And Cubs getting a power start for this next jam. That's Rebel Girl wearing the star for the Cubs. And penalty is called. The pack looks kind of confused. Oh, beautiful hit to the outside by number 15, Violet Baudelaire of the Wolves. Excellent job by Violet Baudelaire, stalling things until her jammer can get out of the penalty box. Jamming for the Wolves now, it is number 999, TT. And that's 4 points going on the board there for the Wolves. Masterful defense by the Wolves. Rebel Girl still trapped in the pack there. Serial Killer doing a nice job forcing Rebel Girl to the back of the pack. Rebel Girl finds a hole on the inside, runs away with it. 4 points going on the board for the Cubs. TT answering in kind with 4. That's 2 minutes. That's been a full minute. 8-point jam there. Brought to you by TT. Rotten Candy coming back to jam for the Wolves. We got just under 2 minutes left to go in this bout. It's going to be Meteor Plower wearing the star for the Cubs this time. Meteor Plower forced to the back of the pack by TT there. Nice hit by Lemon Lime of the Cubs on Rotten Candy. Rotten Candy tries it again. Oh, Meteor Plower called to the penalty box. It's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. Rotten Candy coming around for 4 points. This is exactly what the Wolves need with just a minute left to go, trailing by almost 30 points here. 28-point game at the moment. Rotten Candy taking a hit to the outside. Lining up back behind the pack here. Nice job by the Cubs, slowing things down until Meteor Plower can come out of that penalty box. Nice hit there from Tripping Hazard in the pack. Oh, and I'm not even sure what happened. We got the Cubs putting 3 points on the board there for the Cubs. Wolves answering with 6, and we have an official review called by the Cubs. We got just 27 seconds left to go. One more shout out for MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine. MSU Healthcare Sports Medicine, the official medical provider and a sponsor of Lansing Roller Derby. Also, just another reminder about our community partner, Okemos High School Action Club, and their Sock Out Suicide campaign, annual campaign to raise awareness and start important discussions about suicide prevention and mental health. On May 16th, community members are encouraged to wear fun, brightly colored socks, run with Playmakers 5K, or take the Sock Out Suicide Pledge, which is to seek help or call 988 if you are having self-harming thoughts. Encourage others to seek help from a professional if they are struggling, or call 988 or 911 if you think someone is in danger of self-harm. Also, if you wore your silly socks tonight, we are going to be having that crazy sock contest here as soon as this bout ends. Come on to the middle if you've got your crazy socks on. We got some really cool prizes for our first and second place crazy sock contest winners. We got time for just one more jam here in this game. We got Little Maniac wearing the star for the Cubs. Call Sam is jamming for the Wolves. Little Maniac getting things started out on the right foot for the Cubs for 4 points. Call Sam, meanwhile, taking a hit to the inside from number 4, Shreddy Mercury. And Little Maniac takes up. Goes back to the outside, and Call Sam putting 4 points on the board for the Wolves. Oh, that was a penalty there for the Maniac. It's going to be a power jam for the Wolves. And Little Maniac did put 4 points on the board for the Cubs. Call Sam, meanwhile, 8 points so far for the Wolves. So we've got 18 seconds left to go in this bout. Call Sam going to try to make it 12. Cubs going to try to put a stop to things. Call Sam takes a hit there on the inside. Scream Queen attempts to do some recycling, but the refs say it's all over. Call Sam putting 2 more points on the board for the Wolves. That's a 10-point jam for the Wolves. 7 points for the Wolves. Our unofficial final score, Wolves 261. Cubs 287. Nice job, both teams. We have skaters from Lansing